Hello, my name is Nathan, and I want to thank you for watching this video. And I'm going to dive right into it really quickly. This video is about Star Wars video games, one of my favorite universes in all of media, and one of my favorite media formats video games. So we're going to be talking about some of the recent announcements that have been made by EA and by Disney. We're going to talk about what the current studios are doing. I'm going to talk about what I want from the studios, and it's all sort of in a build up to E3 because I'm sure we're going to get a big Star Wars announcement. So let's start with the first one, which is all of these stories that have been either leaked or reported in the last couple of days. First, and I think the biggest, is that Disney Infinity is officially canceled. I never had a chance to play that game. I thought the figures looked cool, but it's dead. And I'm a little surprised because I had kind of heard that Disney Infinity was selling really well, but Disney closed that branch and they said they are done with making video games, they're going to outsource it. So I guess EA is going to get a lot more business. So the next story comes from DICE, which officially announced that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a thing. Of course it's a thing. I don't think we really needed them to announce it. For those of you who thought that they were just going to turn Star Wars Battlefront into a platform and not release a numbered sequel, they're a company that is looking to make money. I think you were kind of crazy if you thought they weren't going to release a sequel. But I hope they fix some of the problems and they add a lot more content. I'll get to that a little later. So the third big story that I saw released was a leak, where images of a Star Wars RTS were leaked by a former EA employee. Now this is probably pretty legitimate. Star Wars RTS games, they just work really well. That universe fits RTS pretty well. And they've done it before. I don't know how much commercial success they've had. RTSs don't tend to make the biggest splash in the world. They're not the most played genre. I really like them, and a Star Wars RTS sounds great to me. Maybe we'll hear about it at E3. So with the stories out of the way, let's jump into the companies that EA has working on Star Wars games. Now, a company executive said that currently DICE, Visceral, and BioWare, forgot my favorite company's name, are working on Star Wars games. From BioWare, people don't really know what we're getting from them. The rumor mill hasn't said much. I think everyone's assuming that we're getting a KOTOR 3. I'm not sure if that's really feasible. Disney blew up the entire extended universe, including KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2. So if they are going to make another KOTOR game, I think it's more likely that they would make a KOTOR remake. Personally, what I want BioWare to make is a Darth Vader RPG. I want it to be set right after Episode 3, and I want it to be Darth Vader sort of learning his place as a Sith, and hunting down the remaining Jedi, and hunting down the remaining Separatists, and any fragments of the Republic that are really rebelling against him. So filling the gap between Episode 3 and Episode 4, and how he really went from being Anakin, who was really, really emotional and really, really hot-headed, to being the cool, menacing, terrifying Vader that came in Episode 4. The other time period that I think BioWare can make a really good Darth Vader game is after Episode 4. I don't know how many of you have been following the comics, but a storyline of the comics is that Darth Vader is a little disgraced after the destruction of the Death Star, and Emperor Palpatine has trying to find a new apprentice. And it can be Darth Vader, or it can be a group of strong Force Adept people that he has been secretly training. And he tells them all that he's only going to pick one, but they're not allowed to kill each other, or at least he's not allowed to find out about them killing each other. So a game focused around Darth Vader trying to figure out who Luke is, trying to capture Luke to make him his apprentice, and at the same time, without being second in command of the Empire, so not having all of his troops at his disposal, trying to fight these other Force Adept people that are within the Empire without the Emperor knowing about any of it. That sounds like a really cool BioWare game. It's probably a little unlikely because BioWare does branching storylines, and Disney and the Star Wars universe probably doesn't want to do that. They want to have a really controlled narrative, but that would be my dream BioWare game right now. So with that, why don't we move on to Visceral. Now, Visceral was announced to be making a game about Star Wars a while back, and they recently acquired Amy Hennig from the maker of Uncharted from Naughty Dog Studios. She has a strong pedigree on third-person action games. She's one of the leaders of the Uncharted games until she left, and the rumors is that she's making a Han Solo third-person open-world adventure action game. That sounds really, really cool. Amy Hennig has all of the skill and talent to make a really great Han Solo third-person game. I'd say the only thing that I want from that hasn't already been rumored is I don't want the Han Solo game to be one big controlled story. I want it to be like him telling about his legend to somebody. So it's a bunch of smaller stories from him being young to him getting to the age he is now, like with a little bit of his arrogance and a little bit of his making things bigger than they actually were in the story. So tell me the entire Han Solo legend all the way up to episode 4, and do it episodically but in one game. That would be my dream game from Amy Hennig about Han Solo. So with that, we should move over to DICE, and as I said before, DICE is making Star Wars Battlefront 2. I think what I want is what most people want, which is a single-player campaign, some form of story, more single-player content, maybe add in some better vehicles, add in some space combat, and add in more planets. I also wouldn't be that upset if they added in stuff from episode 1, 2, and 3, because I think that I didn't like those movies, but Battlefront 2 had a really good story set in episode 1, 2, and 3, and I think that would be a cool addition. I don't know if that's likely because we've strayed away from those movies and Disney's trying to make us forget that they existed, but at least fix the space combat, add more planets, add a single-player campaign, and for God's sake, make Vader look normal. His helmet is really weird looking in that game. I don't know if anyone else thinks this, but I don't like his helmet, and I really want them to fix that. So the next one is the makers of Titanfall have announced that they are making a game. Now, Titanfall, all about first-person, really mobile. What are they going to make? Well, they recently acquired one of the lead directors of the God of War series. God of War is a swordplay, just brutal hack and slash. Combine swordplay, brutal hack and slash with really high mobility and running up walls, and what do you get? You probably get a Jedi game. I think that sounds great. Make it God of War swordplay or more complex, and then add in all the mobility of Titanfall. That sounds awesome. I don't know how they'll do it, because if they're trying to stick in the 4, 5, 6, 7 movie range, there's not that many Jedis left. But boy, if they do, that would be really cool. Like, you could have it be a Luke Skywalker game set after episode 6, hunting down the remnants of the Empire, maybe fighting like some Empire Inquisitors, which if you've been watching Star Wars Rebels, they're Force Adepts that were within the Empire. I think that would be a really cool concept. So I'm personally hoping that the makers of Titanfall are working on a Jedi game, and they're combining their mobility of Titanfall with the pedigree of the creator of one of the creators of God of War to make a awesome Jedi game. Now, there's another place that is making Jedi games, and that would be LEGO. I'm not going to talk about them a lot because I haven't really played any Star Wars LEGO games or any LEGO games. I hear that they're pretty good. I hear that they're fun. I get the feeling that you're just going to get a LEGO property game movie every time. You get a Star Wars movie, you'll get a LEGO game to coincide with that movie. You might get like a Star Wars LEGO universe where it's one giant platform like they did before. Probably not. They'll just add Star Wars to that platform, and then they'll continue to make solo movies out of games. Or they'll continue to make games out of those solo movies so that there is a game coinciding with each movie. I'm frankly surprised that Episode 7 didn't get a LEGO game sooner or closer to its movie release. I guess they were testing the waters first. But I think from now on you're going to get a LEGO game really close to when each Star Wars movie comes out. So those are all of the known EA companies and other companies working currently on Star Wars games, what they are making and what I kind of want from them. EA has a lot of other studios. They have racing studios, they have sports studios, and they have a lot of other action studios and shooter studios. So there's a lot of people who could be working on EA games. So I'm not sure how much I want from them. I'm not really interested in a Star Wars racing game or a Star Wars sports game. I'm really interested in a Jedi game, a Han Solo game, a better Battlefront game, and a BioWare RPG, and I think we're going to get all those soon. this coming E3, I think you're going to get more Battlefront 1 content, and I think maybe that RTS will be announced, and then I think it's probably around time that BioWare or Visceral's game gets announced. They've both supposedly been working on it for quite some time. It would be the biggest letdown in Star Wars gaming history if the confirmed BioWare game was just more content for the online KOTOR. I hear it's really good. I know a lot of people like it. It's not what I want. I want a single-player hardcore RPG from BioWare, and I really hope this E3 we get it. So that's all the content for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you all love Star Wars as much as me. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you want more content, please subscribe. Thank you.